Fire safety in buildings is one of the major and fundamental principles that must be taken very, very seriously in every project, irrespective of the size of the project. There are projects that may be small, there are projects that are medium-sized, there are high-rise buildings. Irrespective of the size of the project, it is important that fire measures, precautionary and protection measures are inculcated in the design process and the construction process to ensure that the building is protected from any hazard that may arise as a result of fire. And we encourage ourselves at the Building Practice to incorporate these fire safety measures through the use of various codes. In Nigeria, we have the National Fire Safety Code of 2013, which is the document used by the Federal Fire Service, and other building codes, such as the Nigerian Building Code. We also use the International Fire Code, which is revised every 3 years, and the International Building Code. The most recent of this code is the International Building Code 2024. The use of these codes ensure that your building meets the minimum fire requirements for life safety and safety of the occupant and the building itself. So what we do at the Building Practice is that we are able to read the codes, understand what the passive and active measures that need to be incorporated in every building. The buildings are as diverse as they are, so are the requirements diverse, which range from, like I said, the passive and the active measures, which range from how the building is designed, the use of compartmentalization of spaces, the use of fire doors, the use of sprinklers, the use of fire dampers, how to provide spaces of refuge, how to use fire curtains and fire walls and barriers. Once you are accustomed to working with the various codes I had mentioned earlier, you will be in a good position to provide the solutions that are required and ensure that your building meets the minimum requirements for life safety. Second part of the International Fire Code, which encompasses most of the things that we incorporate in our building, enables us to know what is required for different building types, which starts basically from the classification of buildings. Once you are able to classify your buildings according to the use of the building, you are in a better position to know what the requirements for that particular building type is. So for the requirements for a building type B, which is a building for business activities, or building type A, which is a building for assembly, are different. Building type R are residential buildings. Building type S are storage buildings. And building type, so there are various types of building typologies, which require various types of fire precautionary and protection measures. So a good knowledge of the various codes I had mentioned before equips the architect to be able to provide the right solutions at the right times.
From our understanding of what is required according to the codes, we work with codes at Building Practice. We work with the NFPA codes. We work with the International Building Codes. We work with the Nigerian Building Code. We work with the EN codes. We work with BS codes, and so many codes that we work with to ensure that our designs are global standards. In these codes, there are already specified requirements and standards that need to be imputed into design. And we ensure that we research through this process of design. So for fire escape, we know the required distance somebody needs to travel in case of fire from maybe a particular place in the house, like from the deepest point in the house. We know the travel distance. We have an idea of how to secure fire escape routes. They are protected escape routes where from design, you need to determine a path where somebody can get out of the building through safely in case of fire, at least within a period. Let's say we have a lobby that leads to an escape staircase. It should be fire protected. If there's a fire in an apartment, fire should not get to that lobby immediately. So some of these lobbies per code, we have some that require 2 hours fire protection. So if there's fire for 2 hours, you've designed the lobby and impute the elements in place to ensure that if there's a fire in this apartment, somebody should be able to get out of this apartment and travel to that safe escape stairs to get out of the building till they get to the muster point. And there's also specified requirements to ensure that fire is contained, in the sense that if we have a block of apartments, there's a way that you can specify the type of walls that are bounding one apartment from the other. If there's fire here, fire should not be able to get to the other apartment. The type of doors that you are choosing, they should be properly fire rated, and they should meet the minimum standard required for the fire containment that you are targeting for that apartment. Averagely, we look at 2 hours between apartments. There could be fire burning. The doors for a 2-hour compartment will be 1 hour 30 minutes rating for that type of door. So when we are selecting doors, when we are specifying, we're already ensuring these things are in place. When we are designing, we're ensuring that the escape paths and routes are clear. We ensure that whatever signages that need to guide people out of the building, they are installed in the building. When we tell people in case of fire, do not use the lift, we tell them this is the exit path, follow this route. You just have to follow the signages. This is where the fire extinguisher box is. And we ensure all these things are in place, and we ensure the right fire suppression methods are also provided during in case of fire. So in places where we have electrical elements, you can't use what you will use in a place where there are no electrical elements. There are some rooms that are electrical rooms. We use FM 200 to ensure that there's no danger of electrocution when you're trying to suppress the water with fire in other places. So there are things like this that we put in place, but we have a firm understanding that everyone in case of fire in any building should be able to escape safely, and we pay attention to this even from the design.
In addition to the codes earlier mentioned, one very important code that we use at the Building Practice is the NFPA codes. NFPA means the National Fire Protection Association. The codes are very relevant for various situations, and they also specify the different degrees of hazards of fire that could happen, and how they affect different types of buildings, and the various measures that need to be put in place. So these codes are actually very complementary. So at the Building Practice, we make use of the IFC, which is the International Fire Code. We make use of the Nigerian Fire Safety Code 2013. We make use of the various NFPA codes, which are at least 200 or 300 various codes. So we ensure that at every point in time we refer to the codes, and what we are able to do at the end of the day is that for every building that we work on, we have the opportunity of coming up with a document that is different from our drawings, and it's different from all the other drawings that are either created by the architects or the engineers. We're able to come up with a fire strategy for every building. And what the fire strategy does is that it is a document that documents all fire measures, both precautionary, both protection measures, passive, active measures, and studies the buildings and provides a template for understanding the fire requirements for the building, how they have been met, and also gives an opportunity for future maintenance and operation of the building. In your general fire strategy document, you have a description of the type of the building, the typology, the type of construction, the compartments that you must have in the building, the remoteness, the types of exits. You must also consider the occupant load of the building and how they can exit the building in the event of a fire. You must also be able to study the remoteness of your exits, how close or how far apart from each other they should be, and the various fire ratings that you must have for the various compartments. Your fire strategy also talks about your dampers, your sprinklers. Now for sprinklers, we know that the code also gives us guidelines on what to do for buildings that are fully sprinklered or buildings that are not sprinklered, and it also gives us guidelines to know when to use these sprinklers your standpipes, your breaching inlets, your landing valves, and how to place these things. The fire strategy also documents how to use your leads in the event of a fire. It tells us about how to evacuate from the building in the event of a fire. All this information must be contained in your fire strategy. Your fire strategy also will contain basic drawings. These drawings are templates that describe how fire measures have been incorporated in the design, how what the rating for your firewalls, for your fire barriers, and how the compartments are linked with each other. All this information must be on that fire strategy drawing. Also, which must be there if you have a building that has an atrium, like the one that will be under construction at Ikoyi, the 27 Global Road project. We have fire curtains. So we have a combination of fire and smoke curtains that have been installed. Our fire strategy documents how these components are used and how they are incorporated, how they are tied with the building management system. Our fire strategy also talks about a very important part of a building that is usually overlooked in many places. We have a fire command center. In the fire command center, you are able to assemble all the various components, elements of fire in the building, the fire systems in the building, and control them from that particular space. And that space, in most cases, are connected to the nearest fire service station, so that there can be some level of communication between the building and the nearest fire service station. This document will also contain your smoke management plan, because we know that in the event of a fire, smoke has the tendency of killing faster than the fire itself. The use of these various codes that I have mentioned and the incorporation of the various measures that these codes and guidelines give to us allows us at the building practice to design our buildings very intentionally with the various fire and life safety measures put in place. And this has also helped us to win an award very recently at the 9th African Brand Awards, where we were recognized as Africa's best world-class professional architecture firm for the year 2024. This accolade helps us solidify our stand as one of Africa's leading architectural firms because of the various things that measures and considerations that we put in place for fire, for sustainability, functionality, economy, and aesthetics. We believe that at every point in time, we have an opportunity to do fantastic buildings, and we will never relent on that.